We live in a time where diversity is more important now than ever and prevails in almost all aspects of our lives. I found college to be a place where your cultural ideas, habits, and tendencies find a new audience and are often met with different and exciting perspectives. In the few short months I've been away from home, I have found college to be more of a so-called culture shock than anything. Until I left for college, diversity was not something I was exactly used to. So you can imagine people's surprise and sometimes utter dismay when I tell them that I was the only relatively black person in my graduating class, let alone one of the only black people to attend my high school at the time. For those of you who do not know, I am an alumni of Howell High School, and my family and I have called the city of Howell home for the past 14 years. And as you probably have deduced, this is a photo of my family at graduation. Next to me is my mom, and then my dad and my little brother Ian. Since I've been a part of this community pretty much my entire school-age life, I'm not naive to the fact that Howell is not exactly the most diverse place in the world. In fact, the city of Howell, as it stands now, is comprised of approximately 9,539 people, and of that, 8,774 of those people are identified as white, which is around 92% of the city's population. While Hispanic people account for 2.6, mixed people account for 2.6 as well, Asian people account for 1.4%, and all other races make up 0.8, and black people only make up 0.6% of the population. I don't know about you all, but to me that statistic is rather off-putting. After a while, you begin to bear the grunt of the so-called bad reputation that the name Howell carries with it. Growing up as a biracial person, I was aware from an early age that there would always be an inherent cultural disconnect between me and my peers. A constant struggle of finding the balance between my two ethnic identities. At times, I find myself having to choose a side. People often find comfort in conformity and tend to seek out the people or things that they similarly identify with. More times than not, growing up, I found the one thing I could always find a way to relate to is music. Regardless of your race, age, sexuality, religion, or any other dividing factor that makes you unique, music is the great equalizer. A while ago, I came across a song written by an artist by the name Earl Sweatshirt that I thought described what it is like to be a biracial person perfectly. This is from a song called Chum, and the line goes like this: "Too black for the white kids and too white for the blacks." Oftentimes, I found this to be a good description for how it feels to be a biracial person in a community that can oftentimes be hard to relate to. Growing up, I struggled a lot with my ethnic identity and was often bullied because of it. Imagine being a 13-year-old kid riding a bus to school, all while having to hide behind your seat and dodge the aim of pencils being thrown my way while a group of boys mocking me and chanting "monkey" in my direction. Or when racial slurs become a way for not only people to single you out, but to surely make you pick a side when it comes to what race I am. This is nothing someone, let alone a kid, should be subjected to. Countless times I have felt as if being a biracial person has somehow put a target on my back. With such a lack of diversity, it almost makes people of a minority stick out in a way. Thankfully, I've had the great support of not only my parents, but former teachers, faculty, and other people in our community as well when it came to standing up to adversity. But unfortunately, not all people who face discrimination are as lucky as me. Because diversity is such a vital role in our culture today, I find the most important thing when it comes to continuing our growth as a society is to also talk about the other essential parts that make diversity work. But first, we must understand what that includes. Diversity is defined as a range of different things, kind of a broad term. Which includes thinking about diversity as more than a skin color. Equality, the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. That means creating an environment where each diverse individual has the same opportunities when necessary. And lastly, inclusion. The action or state of including or of being included within a group or structure. In the words of Verna Myers, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. According to the Pew Research Center in 2015, 6.9% of the US adult population were found to have at least 2 races in their ethnic background, while that in the United States alone, 350 languages are spoken in homes nationwide. With that, it is now more important than ever to provide equal opportunity because these cultural, ethnic, and racial differences are truly what make America great. Furthermore, I believe it is crucial that we as people not only acknowledge these differences, but celebrate them as well. I challenge you to consider a person for more than their race, religion, sexuality, or even disability. Look beyond the things as people we cannot inherently change, but rather focus on one thing as people we do have control over, our thoughts. In closing, as the world around us becomes continually more diverse and the ideas and standards of culture, race, and even politics begin to broaden and in some cases clash with the people in your life around you, I encourage you to not only diversify your lifestyle or the way that you live, but diversify the way that you think as well. Be open, understanding, and most of all, be the voice for those who can't. And with that, I leave you with the wise words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Thank you.